Great, thank you everyone for joining the third session. So today we will continue the session on Kodak Capture Pro. We will have like a more technical session. So I think it's best to to do it straight like after the previous session, which was yesterday. And we will focus like to have everything, all the technical things by today, because if not, if we split this session into two, then it will be like for another week and a half, I guess. So please bear with me. I will try to make it not to make it too long, so that you grab all the information. And so yeah, let's we can get started. Let me share first my screen. All right, so you can all see my screen, correct?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
Dalia.
So yesterday we've done a quick demo on Kodak Capture Pro, and we talked a bit about. Sorry, someone would like to ask something, or by mistake.
No, sorry, that was an accident.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so today I will take a little bit step back to talk a bit about the installation, just so you get all the details on how to deal with the installer and so on. So after this session, I will share with you the link to download the application from our website. So from this link, you will see there's this version, which is Workstation Client Software, which is the Capture Pro standalone edition. This is the machine-based Kodak Capture Pro, not the network edition, and not the limited edition for sure. So from here you will have this is the full installer. Plus, you would need the license manager. So the license manager is important to have for mainly to get the extension on the demo license. So once once you have, or once the 30-day trial is finished, or even we can do it since the beginning, you will get this license manager that gets installed with the application. So to be able to extend the license for you, we need this hardware ID over here. So when you click on show hardware ID, we need this part to be able to generate a license or a long license for each machine. So this will be required from each machine where you would like to have the demo license on. And once it is validated, the application runs again, and it will be valid for all types of scanners for sure. When you install the application, you will get the shortcut on the desktop. This will be easy to access the application for the coming days. Plus, when you first start the application, you will get to set up the scanner. You would be asked to set up the scanner. So you will get this screen where you can select the scanner. And here you have to, this is important here to know that whatever scanner you would like to use, first you need, definitely it needs to be connected to the machine. Plus, you need to have the Twain driver installed on the computer. So it can be Twain or ISIS driver, but yeah, with Kodak scanners, it's the Twain driver. So once it is installed, you will see it in this list over here, and then you can select the scanner. When you click OK, it will get validated, and here you see I have an S2040 scanner connected. So this is the screen where you can also choose to have the quick start to be launched whenever you launch Capture Pro for the like whenever you open Capture Pro. And this quick start is this screen that we saw yesterday, the simplified user interface for the operator to use, where you can directly choose the setup and start the scanning automatically. So for the purpose of this session, or for the training session, I will keep it off to focus and go through what we have in the menu over here. So I will start again by creating, I will take the same example as yesterday, but this time I will use the scanner, and I will go through the connection between Kodak Capture Pro and the scanner. So I have the job setup selected over here, which it's a big list for me. But yeah, just for you to know, when you first install the application, it comes with three ready-to-use job setups. It's ready to scan, and scan to PDF, and scan to email. So as it is recommended to start with the ready to scan, save as, like create a new job setup for you based on the ready to scan, and start like doing the setup from there. So it's recommended not to change these default job setup in case whenever you upgrade the version of the software, it won't be overwritten or something by the ready to scan job setup. Okay, so I will start by doing the scanning, and I want you to just have a look over here. This is where I select the scanning profile. So this is the scanning profile. I created it. I'll go through it in a bit, but just for you to know, I'm scanning color and black and white. So it's dual stream. I get two versions of the image, and I'm doing a red color dropout. So let me start the scanning. We will start seeing the results. So this is a 2040 scanner. So the speed is 40 pages per minute. So you see, we have a bit of if you notice, we have a blank page, but it's getting deleted, because also I have blank page removal from the scanner. Let me double check. No, we actually have blank page. Not all of them were removed. We'll see why. So let's have a look at what we have as a result again. So first, this is the document, one document that has 2 pages. Why do we have all of this? You see, like page 1, or let's say page 2, it's these 4 images. So first we have double version for each page, which is color and black and white. I can filter over here by, let's say, hiding the black and white, so I see the full image, the both pages only as color. And this is the back side of this page. So this is probably why we're seeing all this. And this is in the case of the first page. And same here, you see the thumbnail images, for all the images that we have under this batch. And again, we can filter, hide black and white, hide grayscale, or even control the size of this thumbnail. So for now, let's hide the black and white. Okay, I want to go through this scanning profile that we have. So by default, whenever you connect a new scanner, you will get these 2 So the black and white 200 dpi and the color 150 dpi as like default scanning profile with a new scanner. So if I want to do or set up the page setup linked with the scanner, I either use this shortcut, which takes me to the page setup, it's called, or I choose from the menu the page setup. So this will show the screen. We're still in Capture Pro, in the application level. So over here, we create the profile that we want. So what I did, I used this black and white, and I clicked Save As to create my own profile. And I called this profile color and black and white. So here we have some settings, some things I can do on the level of the image, like again, auto delete, like removing the blank page. But again, it is recommended to use the blank page removal from the scanner profile, from the scanner driver. It has better performance and more effective. So it won't really affect the speed of the images in the application when they arrive. We have split and merge. So split in case you're scanning brochures, for example. This is where you can decide the width where you want to split, and then you'll get the image of each page in the brochure. Or you can merge the images. Let's say if you're scanning, let's say you're using a scanner where you cannot scan an A3 page size, so you can fold this image and scan both front back and front side and back side of this image, and then merge them over here to have the full image, the full bigger side of the image. And we have the intelligent quality control. We will see this in the application, not just in the page setup. So this is where I can apply these enhancement features on the image itself, but this is on the level of the software. So again, this is only recommended if we are, let's say, importing a digital copy of the images and not scanning, because all of these features are available on the level of the scanner, which is more effective and have better performance. So from here, once I create this profile on the software level, I can connect it by clicking on settings and go to the scanner driver. So over here now I'm in the driver of the scanner. This is the Twain driver of the S2014. And again, by default, you'll have sorry, you'll have all of these profiles. And what I did is just click on one of them and save as to create my own scanning profile, which is color and black and white dropout. So I created this one. Here I choose if I want to scan one side, front, or both of them, or the back. Once I have this set up, I can click on settings. So over here, this is where I choose to have two versions of the image. So this is from this icon here where I choose in the images multiple. So I guess these are a bit of like a lot of technical details on the level of the scanner, but it's good to have at least the knowledge, like where to choose and what to set up over there. So when I choose multiple, it means that I want two profiles. So these are the two profiles, the black and white and the color. So in the black and white, I will set up the color dropout from here. I either choose to drop out a specific color, or I say multiple, which will like multiple or predominant. I would suggest multiple, but to remove any like any color, any pure color on the page. The detect is where I choose the content or the percentage of the content on the page to delete the blank page. But still here, I think we could have increased more and fixed that. In the adjust, you'll have actually over here some setup on the document straightening. This is the quality, so this is the best quality, I guess. No, we still can use that, but these are the best options to have on the level of the scanning profile. So once we are done, we can save and we'll have the profile linked from the scanner to the software itself. So now we are ready. This profile is ready and can be used during scanning, and this is what we have so far. So it's important to know as well the extraction of the index field that we see here are done on the black and white copy and not on the color image. So this is mainly why we choose to have a black and white copy. And specifically in this case, it's with a color dropout option. So this will have a better accuracy, better quality of the image, a clearer the text to extract from without any background around it and a lot of things that could confuse the OCR engine. So let's go back to this interface and go through a bit of the options that we have over here. So I will mention again the separation rule that we have in this example is based on the patch code, which we have in the header of the image. I will run again another example later showing you the separation that is done on the barcode, like barcode separation. The color dropout we talked about. So this is the structure that we got for the separation. And also here on this level, either the left side or the right side, we can move some pages from one place to another. So for example, this page, I want to take it and move it to document 3. So this is the move. We're confirming the move of this page from document 4 to document 3. Over here, you have functions, shortcuts where you can like rotate the image, even draw a region, like to crop. Let me quickly show you how we can do that. So this is a cropping option where, for example, I can do this. I can draw this zone and either decide to blank this zone, which it will be then useful to redact some of the document, some of the data on the document, like hide confidential information. So I either choose blank, then it will be gone. Or if I draw again, let's say I will take the big image. Why? Because I want to say crop, then it will crop everything around this image. So it will keep the zone that I have drawn on the page and remove everything around it. All right. Over here, I have the intelligent quality control that I mentioned before. So if I click on this option, so remember in the page setup, we had this option where I can select some of the enhancement features. So here we have the same functions, but we can view the results immediately in front of us. Like I can choose to auto-rotate in case we need it. In this case, it is already. I can binarize, so convert it to black and white, and I can control the contrast in this case. Say I want it low. I can replace the punch holes on the page, which we don't have in this case. I can choose auto cropping. It will crop the space, the white space around the page. In case we need a deskew, we can choose also this option. So all of this can be applied on one image, or we can apply to all, or select multiple image and apply this one by one. Or actually we choose this option as well. So this is the intelligent quality control. It is based on the same technology that we have in the scanner, which is the perfect page. And it is something that we can control manually here in the application, or we can choose to apply it in the page setup that can help us automatically like do enhancement on the images, let's say on auto import, because auto import will allow what the auto import does is import automatically images from a hot folder. It can be called a hot folder, monitoring folder, watch folder. So this is where the folder is set up to have images coming to this folder, let's say from another application or coming from an MFP, a multifunction device. So it will, let's say this multifunction device, because this device doesn't have any of the drivers like the Twain or the ISIS, so it doesn't support any of these drivers, so we cannot scan directly into Capture Pro. So that's why it scans into a folder, and then we use auto import to monitor this folder and import these images automatically in Capture Pro based on some one of the job setups that we create. So over here we can apply these settings, the enhancements on whatever image are imported automatically in Capture Pro. So let me close this. So now this probably has changed. Let me return back the black and white. Now I think I ruined the color dropout from the first image. It's okay. Let's go check again the index field. So we saw yesterday that we automatically can see the zones that were extracted from the page. So these zones are set up in the job setup. So this is where we define the position of every zone. Like first we need to know what are we extracting from this page and the position of these fields that we're extracting. So if I go to either index, edit index field, or I click the shortcut that we have on the in the header, it will take me to the edit index field section. So this is where I can run through the index fields one by one for all the documents, and fix if anything needs to be fixed. So first we have this first document. If I click next document, it will take me to the next one. We check that everything is okay. For example, so over here, for example, we have these two fields. So we don't just have zones for extracting OCR, for extracting text. We also have zones that can extract the check mark, the check boxes that we have on the page. So this is called OMR, optical mark recognition. So in this case, these boxes, this part, these three, single, married, other, is this index field that is linked with the marital status. So we have extract the single. So there is a way in the setup, we will see it together next, how we do set up these check boxes and read the one that it is checked. So if we look closely, we are reading this part. So it is definitely more accurate to read this imagine that we have 3 boxes over here, then reading with all the text around it. So it will detect with better and higher accuracy when we have this checkbox alone over here without any text around it, because it tests if this box is filled or not. So if it's not, if it's filled, let's say over here, if it detects by mistake any of the text because the page shifted a bit, or even the box itself, any of the lines, it will detect that there's pixels inside this box, and it will consider it as checked. So this is a better approach for extracting checkboxes. So the two examples that we have is the marital status and the employment status. Employment status is this part, the 3 boxes. They are all 3 of them also linked with the same group, same index field, that is employment status. So over here we have we left a box or a zone, sorry, text box that it's empty. So I'll run again and show you how to do this manually, like how I can extract the zone by drawing a box on the page. So I can use this option, drag and drop OCR, that we used yesterday. So let's say this is the address that I want to extract. I just draw this zone and I get automatically the text over here. Let's say I want to, I need to get some text from more than one zone, from more than one location. There's this one-click OCR, which allow me to choose the word that I want to extract. So now I clicked on one word. It does automatically like a full reading of the OCR on the page. And now if I press Control actually and click, it starts taking the words one by one and like adding it in the same box that I'm selecting. So if I keep on clicking, it will keep on adding this information over here. So this is the approach that the operator can take if some of the values were not extracted like correctly on the page, or something is missing, or the zone is a bit has changed position a bit. So this is easier than manually entering the text in these boxes. So we make it easier to have this extraction manually. So either I mentioned that we can either click next, previous, or if we have any validation on the page, like incorrect format, like I mentioned before. So if this is more than 10 character, I will get a warning message or an error message saying that this is wrong format. So these kind of these are the validation that the application can apply, including the also required field. So if we choose, if we have, for example, this as a required field, this one, and I click next, or I decide to save and exit, it will tell me that here this is a required field, you need to fill it. So that's why this one, next invalid, will take me to the next document that has an invalid format or an invalid message that related to this, to a certain text box or a field. So since here we don't have anything that is like wrong format or required and missing, we can then save. So we either click this and finish, it will take me back to the previous interface, or I can click save and exit, this icon over here. So now that I finished, I'm back to this option over here, to this screen. Okay, so what I would like to do now is take you through the setup that we did to create this specific demo, this specific job setup. So so it's either I go to File Job Setup, or I simply click press J on the keyboard. It will take me automatically to the job setup where I can see the setup that I did. As I said before, by default here you only see 3 job setups: ready to scan, scan to PDF, and scan to email. So what is recommended is to come here, click Save As, and give it a new name, and start your start to set up your own job setup. So let me take you back to the one that we're using. So it's easier to show you what we did in this setup since you've seen this example than like creating everything from scratch. Anyway, there's no scratch because all the setup will be based on the ready to scan. So you add the setup that you want on this job setup. So over here by default we have these two like locations. So what are these locations? This is important here for every setup. So first you have the scanned image location. This folder is where all the batches and the data of the batch is stored during the process. Not on output. So this is before we finish with the batch and we export the batch. Any batch existing in the batch list, it has to be like existed or has a folder in this location. So this is important because if you lose this folder, you will lose the data of what you have processed or what the users are scanning at the moment. And why this folder is also very important, because if you have more than one user, like in the same process, in the same workflow, so you have some users are only responsible for scanning and other users are responsible for doing the verification or probably the indexing and then verification and so on. So you have divided your users or operators by groups. And by the way, we have user roles and groups defined, and you can give each group the roles and the functions they have access to. So if this is set up, and it's important also to tell you that you don't need the network edition to achieve this. So this is also possible with the standalone, even if the Capture Pro is installed on every machine and it's independent of whatever you have on another machine. If there's no network edition connecting them, it's still possible to connect them through this folder. So if I set up a shared folder, let's say on a file server, and put this location over here, and this file a shared folder is shared by all the user, I can do the same on the second machine, on the user responsible for validation and let's say indexing. I can set up this shared location, link it to the same shared folder, and then this way they can have access to the same batch list related to this job setup, and they can share the batches between them. Then this second user will open the batch folder and see the batch list, and can select the batch that needs to be validated or indexed after the first user has already scanned the batch. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. And yeah, like it's a bit difficult for me to check if anyone has raised hand. So yeah, please feel free to interrupt me. All is clear so far?
Yeah, all clear to me.
Okay, perfect. So the second location is the output image location. It's the main route for the export path for this job setup, and we'll see where we'll use this as like a variable in the output setup in the third tab. So this is the general options that we have. Next, we have the batch settings where we can define the name of the batch. Like here is where I want where I set up the name of the batch automatically to be created. So if I click on setup, I can see, you will see the screen a lot or similar to it, where we have predefined variables on the left and a formula on the right. This is where I choose the variables from the left. Let's say I want the batches to be named automatically by today's date, let's say. So I can choose, let's say, date, and I can put more. I can define the format by either like inserting dashes between the month, the day, and whenever I insert any static text, I can add double quote as to define to say that this is a text. So in this case, for example, what they did is add a static text, let's say health claim, and then next to it, I want to choose a variable. So it can be, let's say, the year. I want to add like a dash after that, and then the month, and another dash, and then the day. So this is one way, but if you look at it, this is not something, it won't be unique. You would need to add more to it because this will automatically be the name of the batches automatically created. The user can still add something to this batch name, but it is preferable to have it automatically like defined so that it will be faster for the user to continue to the next step. So for this, we have the batch counter, where we can use to increase like an incremental number that will avoid any duplication of the naming. And here we can say how many, like the length of this number, and it will add automatically leading zeros before it. So if I choose this, it will be, let's say, health claim 001, health claim 002, and so on. Okay, so this is how I define the batch name. If I need any limitation on the number of documents or to warn the user like few documents before, I can put the numbers over here. Technically, it's unlimited, like there's no limit. There's no limit on how many pages in a document or how many documents in the batch to scan. But again, this needs to be taken into consideration to avoid any memory issue on the machine, any like big file sizes. So, but technically in the application itself, there is no limitation on this. And then next we have the setup where we start defining our zones, the extraction zones. So when you first click on this part over here, you will see nothing. You won't see a scan. You won't see an image or a sample image. What needs to be done first is to scan. Click Start Scan. Let's say call it image 1, and click Scan to scan a sample of your image. Unfortunately, from here, we cannot import the image. If, let's say, you don't have a scanner available right right when you are doing the setup. So there is a workaround to do that. Let me exit this to show you. So did I? cancel? No. Okay. So the workaround is to create a batch based on this setup, the job setup that you have already created. You can right click on an image. You create the batch, and what you can do is manual import of the image. So if you have digital copies, so once you import them, just it's not a batch that you would really need to extract from. You can right click and choose copy image to the job setup. Once you do that, it will then appear in the setup screen that you are working on. But it's extremely important to know that the manual import that we have over here will not allow any rule to be applied to these images. By rules, I mean separation rules, extraction, automatic extraction, zonal extraction. None of this will be applied. It's just importing images, and then you have to do manually the work. And this is this is on purpose. We know that this does not have any features with it, because this is where we control the licenses, we control the auto import, or we control the importing of the images through the auto import license. So you would need a license to import digital copies into the system. It's not open just to import as much images as needed. Okay, so let me go back to this part. Okay, so once I have the image ready, I can start creating a zone to define where I want the text to be extracted. Okay, here we have a lot of copies, but it shouldn't be this way. So technically, when we have this dual stream, when we have a black and white copy and a color copy, I better have both of them here defined, just so I know the difference between the two. Let me find which one. This is black. Okay, these two, I guess. This is another copy. So just as a note here, it doesn't matter which sample page I have imported or have over here, because what's important is the location of the zone, the position of every zone I have created. So this is the black and white copy. And you see we have these three options. So we have a black and white, a barcode, an OCR, and an OMR. So this is what I need to select before clicking here to create a new zone. So this is the button I need to create a new zone. I can zoom in a bit. And I'm not sure what zone this is. Okay, let me go back to this version. Okay, I want an OCR, and I want to take the employer name. So you'll see this is the zone that I have created. It's an OCR zone, and this is the sample of the data exists in the zone that I've drawn. So you see the type, see how you don't just get the value. I'm getting all the text around it. That's how color dropout is important. So here I'll call it employer name, and this is OCR zone. The primary language is English. I can add secondary name, secondary language if needed. And there is no separation needed on this zone, from this zone. Like if it's a barcode, I can choose create a new document. If it's like a title that I want to separate based on, I can say create a new batch and define the value that it has to be fixed. So once I click OK, I can test by simply choosing the black and white. And then now this is the new zone that I have created. If I click zone property again, I can see the value extracted accurately without any of the text around it. Okay, so this is one OCR sample. The barcode is similar. I don't have a barcode in this example, but I can like draw anything and show you what we have. So this tells you there's no barcode detected, there's no value that we were able to extract. So over here, you'll have the types of barcode supported. So if it was a valid barcode, it will automatically be selected over here. So the application is able to automatically detect the type of barcode that you are scanning, which will show the content of the barcode over here. And you have the the ability or the option to select to say it's exactly this zone that we have, that we drawn, or let it search anywhere on the page, like look for the barcode, because it doesn't have a fixed position. Probably it will move, keep on, maybe it's a sticker barcode. So we let the application detect the location of this barcode. If we are looking for a separation based on the barcodes, so we have to select create a new document. So this will split the documents whenever a barcode is detected. If I'm scanning a sheet, let's say a full sheet with the barcode in the middle, where we just use it to separate documents, I can choose the delete page option. So it will split the documents based on this sheet and delete it automatically. Okay, so this is the barcode setup. What I still want to show you is the OMR. So you notice, sorry, let me just, yes, so you notice here we have these blue boxes. So the blue represents the OMR, the check boxes. So if I go back to the color version, we have these boxes. So you notice that it's fine if we make the box a bit bigger, because there will be when it is black and white, it won't matter. There won't be any values around it, any text around it. So what we did is, let's say this is the marital status. These are the three boxes, three zones. If I go to the settings, you notice that we have one zone that has the value as single, but it is linked to a group list. This group list is the marital status. So if I go and see it in details, the marital status is created to have three boxes. So if I don't link these three zones into one group, then each one will need an index zone, which we don't want that. We want the common value selected for this group, for this value, which is the marital status. So it's not going to be single and married at the same time. So it's going to be one of them. But in case like by mistake, the let's say someone checked both, it will separate them. You will see single, comma, married. So it will concatenate them in the value, in the index field value. But technically it should not have more than one value when it comes to marital status. Like in other cases, like the employment status, for example, here we have these three. It could be, let's say, part-time and full-time, like maybe both of them in two different companies, two different locations. So it is possible then they will be separated by a comma. Also, one more thing I want to show you is the multi-value, multi-line value zone. So, for example, here I have this box. You see, it is a big box. It's probably clearer for black and white. So if I go down here, we need these three lines. We need the details in these three lines. We have the capability to assign each line into one index zone. But if I draw, index field. If I draw each zone, each line, like one zone for each line, they will be very close to each other, and it's not something accurate that I will get. So I can draw then a big box for these three lines. If I go to the settings, I can see three of them here. But technically, in the as like there's a line, there's an enter or a line separating each one. So there's a symbol for this return line, like behind in the background, which we will use to separate these three lines into index fields. I will show you once I get to the index field section. But for now, keep in mind that here I have a multi-line with three lines showing over here. Okay, so this is like mainly all the type of boxes that we can draw. Over here, I have the separation rules. The separation rules, if I'm doing any barcode zone, any OCR zone, they are defined automatically in these zones that we created. But additionally, I can, if I have, let's say, a certain number of pages where I want to separate a document, I can define it here. Let's say, if I don't have any barcode, anything, the only rule that I can apply is the number of pages. So it's possible to do it on this level. If I'm separating based on a blank page, it's possible here. I can enable this and define the content where it needs to start detecting the blank page and removing the and separating the documents. And here I say if I'm separating by batch or by document. The barcode, it's in the zones. We don't have anyway a barcode zone in this example. OCR zone, if it will show me the OCR zone, and I can go to the settings again, but again, it's in the same place. Patch code, this is the case that we have in this example. So the patch code, as you notice, we have different types of patch code. So this is patch 1. It should look like this pattern, either patch 2, which is the case that we have on the page, if you notice. Okay, so it is enabled, and we said it's separate the documents whenever this patch code is detected. And this is patch 3, this is patch D. So these are the options related to the patch code. So these are all the options that we can use for the separation. Okay, all is clear so far. Any questions?
No, nothing from my side.
All right, perfect. What we have also over here, and I would like to talk about, is the sort and pause option. So if you remember in the session, in the first session, I guess, we talked about, or probably yesterday, we talked about intelligent exceptions handling. This is where I can detect if I have any missing information, um, uh, any a missing signature probably. So this is the section where I can define these exceptions. So what this will do is pause the scanning. So this is right during the scanning operation and not something after scanning or something on the level of the indexing. It's technically during scanning. I can either pause the scan and wait for like the operator to choose continue, or I can even give a message for the for the operator to say, let's say the signature is missing, so then either pause, either continue, maybe rescan the image again. So this is on the spot during scanning. So what we have is multi-feed. So whenever you have or a multi-feed is detected, it will give you a certain message that it can be customized from here to the user. If I can do some kind of detection on the size of the pages, so let's say if I'm scanning A4, but I don't want to have any envelope by mistake scanned with them, like in between these pages, so I can put an exception here that says when the width and length are less than a certain value, then stop, give a message to the user, then the envelope will be removed and the scanning will continue. Same for a patch code. If I need to detect anything, let's say whenever the certain patch code is detected, stop and warn the user. Also a barcode, let's say a certain barcode or a certain value in a barcode. Here, because I don't have any barcode in this example, so it will tell you, it will inform the user. And this is actually based on the values extracted in the index feed. So that's why here it tells you barcode zone, and we need to select it. So like in this case, also like I can check some values in the document indexes, like an OCR probably. So if I choose this, I can say any of these index field, if it's equal to something, let's say maybe I'm comparing a certain amount, let's say in a form where this amount should not be greater than a certain value, I can put this exception over here and it will warn the user about it. Let me just turn everything off again. All right. So this part is all about the zones and the exceptions that we have, mainly about, yeah, all the capturing. The second section, the second tab, is where I create the index field. So what we did in the first part is create the zones, but it's just zones, not yet any index field that will show for the user, that will be displayed in during scanning. So these are the fields that will be displayed with the name that we give them. So I can click add and start creating the index field. Let me open something existing, like here I give the name, like this is what the user will see. Here as a text box, it will be insured ID, and then the value will be as we define it here. The default value mainly will be selected from this list. So if I click on setup, this is where I link this index field with the zones that I have created, or probably add more to it, like add more to the value. Like probably I need to show the date, the document ID. So this is where I again can create and form a formula to be displayed. So in this case, it's selected from these OCR. So these are the zones, the OCR zones, as you see. And these are the OMR. So we have the options. So what we did is select simply the zone from here. And you see in the type, you either have a single value, a drop-down list, or a multi-selection drop-down list. So it is possible to have a drop-down list where you define a list from here. So the values that you want to be shown in the drop-down list can be added in this part, and then the user will select. But in this case, it's simple. It's single value. And this is where you also define if this field is required, then it means that it cannot be empty. It can also be hidden and be read only. So hidden in some cases, it's a value that is, let's say, automatically, maybe some dates that I want to use on export, anything that I want to use on export, but I don't want the user to see it or be displayed. It's not something necessary to be displayed, so I make it hidden. Read only if I don't want the user to change anything in the value of this field. Double entry, it's something that we have in Capture Pro to force the user, let's say if they are entering this value manually. I want to make sure that this user won't make any typing mistakes. So I let the user type this value twice. So there will be a pop-up to force the user to enter the value again. So if they match, then there's no typing mistake. If he made the mistake in one of them, then it will be it will ask the user to fix that. Okay, so let's have a look at the more complicated ones. So we created one index fields for the zones that we have. Like, for example, this is the marital status. I simply select this one, which is mainly the group between these three boxes that links these three boxes together. And it is the results that it will be either single, married, or other. Okay, so what still I want to show you is the multi-line. So if you remember here, we have a zone with 3 lines. I was able to split these lines, each line, in a separate index field. So how I did this, first I come and select the zone itself, which is called service location. And by adding this, it means I want to split this zone into or using this symbol. This is the symbol that is return line. Then it will split each line alone. So when I add 1, it means the first item in this list, because it's splitting it into 3 items in a list, and then it will put them each one in a single text box. So you see I have 1, 2, and 3. So we'll have every line in one box. All right, so this is on the document level. As you see, we have the option to add index fields on the batch level. But in this case, it's not necessary, it's not needed. If I need to add any PDF properties or the indexes or we call them PDF bookmarks, we allow this by selecting also values from the predefined variables so that they will be added and created with the PDF output as PDF bookmarks. DB-lookup is whenever I need to retrieve any information from the database that will help me like enrich the metadata of the document. So for example, I don't have all the details on the page. I probably only have the ID extracted from a barcode, the ID of, let's say, the patient. But I have this, I have the record of the patient, I have the details of the patient in the system. So to get the rest of the details on this patient, I do a database connection here that I can set up. It can connect through ODBC, so it can connect to anything that will be linked to that, like SQL Server, Oracle, Microsoft Access, or any other, even Excel, and so on. So this will connect or allow the connection to the database and will automatically bring the rest of the details. So you won't notice the difference if of course, if the connection is successful and the data was retrieved, like was found, then you will see automatically the details displayed. And here, this is something you won't see probably in your case. It's where we do customization. So there are APIs available with Capture Pro. So we have indexing APIs, workflow APIs. So this is something where the developers can use from our side to develop some customizations on the level of indexing. So it depends, of course, on the case. Whenever you have such case, we can raise it to the development team and see if it's something we can customize. So then they add the rule and it will show here. And then based on that, we continue the setup. All right, so this is the indexing section. I still have to show you the output setup, how we set up the output format, the output path. But if you have any question on what we've seen so far, please let me know. Let me see if this is from. All right, no problem. Okay, so I guess all good. All right, so what we still have is to define what we are exporting. What is the result of all this setup? So we have first the option to export as file. So you see two files I can send to two different locations, as I mentioned yesterday. So it's just to give to give this option if it's required. Like if they want a backup, they want to save the files also in a backup folder, we give them this option. So it's the same setup exactly as the file one. The system is needed when I need to connect to any third-party system, like if I want to directly connect to Laserfish, even SharePoint, or any of these systems. And for SharePoint, by the way, we have this wizard. Is very straightforward. It guides you to the steps one by one. But what is important, of course, is to define the SharePoint SharePoint server. So, for example, like in our case, we have our internal server. So I just define the host name, give this connection a name, and authenticate using either the SharePoint account or even with Windows authentication. There's an option to also connect to SharePoint Online. Plus, we recently added the multi-factor authentication where where you also enable that. You also make sure that this is verified at this level, or like when you start scanning, it will ask you once to verify and use the multi-factor authentication, and then it is verified for the next for the scanning, next scanning that you will do. And it's possible also to test whatever setup you have over here, and make sure that the server is up and connected and accessible. Then from there, you select this setup and you click next to start choosing the library, to start choosing the document library, mapping the values, the index fields, and they're called document properties, probably. I'm not sure, but yeah, the index field. So you map and then you finish the setup, and once then when you create a scan and finish and export this batch, it will automatically, the documents will automatically be sent to SharePoint, including the metadata with each document based on the mapping that that we did. So this is for the system. We also have two options. And we have emails, print. So email, you can connect to either Lotus Notes or Microsoft Output. You can define the subject, the email where you send to, which can also be variables based on any variable that you have in the index fields, and the email content that we can add from here, and the attachment, like exporting the document actually, that can be set up, the name can be set up from here. So this is for the email. So let me go to in details for the folder export or the file export. So to start, I click on File and Index to enable both, enable the file as an image, like a document, and the index as metadata. So first, as I mentioned before, I have the option to either say send all, like set up all. If I have two copies, like dual stream, the black and white and the color, then this will combine them both. Otherwise, I can separate, I can check each one separate and send each copy or each version to a different location. So let me keep it all. And from here, you have the option to either choose a PDF, a searchable PDF, and the TIFF. And this is the searchable PDF that I used yesterday to export as searchable PDF, and George showed you the results. When you select any of these types, you have the options here. So the option is important. So you choose if this is a single page or a multi-page. And a multi-page based on what? Mainly based on the document. So for every document, because you have pages under this document, it will be a multi-page document, let's say multi-TIFF or multi-page PDF. And here you have some compressions that you can define. Definitely for every type, you have different setup. So for example, if I select the PDF, you will have different options. Okay. And the searchable PDF will allow you to select the language. So also like multi-page and the language. So I guess as it was TIFF. And this is the location and the file name, the things, where you define where to send this file and the file name of this file. So before I click setup and go into this section, I just want to note that this variable export path, it's called inside the batch location, export batch path location. It refers back to the first section, the first location that we talked about, it's this one. So instead of retyping this export route everywhere in all the settings here, I just define it once and use it as a variable on output. Okay, so that there won't be any confusion or any like change. If you need to change this location, then you need to change in a lot of places. So this will facilitate, will make it easier to change any setup. So if I click on this one here, they are split into location and file name. So the location then, we created this path, like what we did, is first choose default output path. This is the variable that I was referring to. And then I want a subfolder. I want another folder after this. So I separated by this. So then it will allow me to add more. So we have, I think it was batch name. And then another one of this and the patient name, which is the one of the index fields. So I'm using the patient name that we extract from here to create another subfolder inside the batch name. All right. And in the file name, what we simply have a document sequence number. So it can be actually anything. It can be also based on the date, but the document sequence number is like a unique ID that will give to the document, unique in this batch, definitely. And it's important to always add the default file extension. So this will then make it an ID dot diff in this case, and we finish and save. So I will just click cancel in case I changed anything, and we finished setting up the document itself. We still have to set up the index, the metadata. So when I click on index, you notice we have batch index file and document index file. We also have the image, but it's not really used in most cases because we always technically need to have a document, a multi-page document. So on the batch level, on both of them, actually, you can use or export in an XML, in a text delimited, like a CSV, or to a database, like save directly in a database that we defined. So, but what's the difference between the batch and the document is the content that we define. So the content for a batch is mainly any details on the batch itself, like the creation date, the number of documents, the number of images, scanned, rescanned, and all that. We have this available. But on the document level, additionally, we can choose index fields related to the document and probably more information on the documents as well. But yeah, we have all the index fields moved to the right side. So this is where I defined what goes in the XML or goes to the CSV. If I choose an ODBC, I need to define first, choose the database, make it validated here, and then start mapping the index field with the column in the database that I want to that I want to send to. Any questions on at this level before I just run a quick another like scan example to just show you the barcode separation before we just wrap up this session. So this is the job setups that we just went through. So I mentioned the user setup. This is where I can define the user logging in this station, this machine. So I can create users, link them to a group, and the group here is where I define the functions for and the job setup that this group has access to. So this will help me separate the users from scanning, from indexing, and so on. So this is mainly, yeah, these are the important part that I wanted to show you. We went through mostly everything. Let me delete this sample and quickly show you one more example. So I want to scan something called the like VAT forms. So if you notice, I use black and white 200 dpi. Here, there's no need for a color dropout. It can actually be colored as well. So what we're doing here mainly is reading a barcode. So oh, so these are the pages. This is page front and back. Okay, and we have like additional supporting documents that comes with it, but this is the main page. It is based on this barcode here on the left. So this barcode is what we use to do the separation. And that's why you see the structure, document 1, document 2, it's all based on this barcode. We're extracting the barcode here in this first index field. And what we did is read, I have the registration number, the period, and the date. These can be extracted automatically from these two zones. But what we did actually is do like a substring. So just to also let you know that this is available in the index field. So I can say, give me only the first or from character 6 to 10 and put it in this. So it's like a substring of the first value that we got from the barcode. And this is how I got these details. Plus, we're using the intelligent exception handling to detect the signature in this zone. So, so if you see here, we have a signature, and this is where you see that it is signed. So the technical work done behind this is by using an OMR. So we put a zone just to detect if there's any pixel in this zone, and if it is, then we mark it as a sign. So on the level of the scanner, we can use the intelligent exceptions to let the user or inform the user with a message whenever it is missing. I don't have it enabled, so it doesn't stop the scanning, but it is what usually does. If it's missing, it just pop up a message and tell the user that it's missing. It can be fixed on the spot and continue the scanning. Okay, one more thing I want to mention before we wrap up. I think we still have like 4 minutes. The auto import can be selected or switch from the same place where I select the scanner. So instead of selecting a scanner, I can choose auto import. So this is where I enable it. And I simply go to auto import setup. So you notice these two are now enabled because the auto import is on. So in the setup, we simply create a profile or a setup that links, choose a specific job. So I select the job setup from here, the folder where that needs to be monitored. And the rest is simple, like just the backup file location in case of error, where to move them. And then, and here, yes, the page setup profile. So simply from here, I can enable the intelligent QC, let's say to this queue and or any of these options. And then I'm ready to go. I save and it will I can start either click start to start monitoring, and it will automatically start bringing read, import, and creating batches. So I think the session or the details, the technical details, I've gone through all the major sections, the major setups. If you feel like you would need to know anything in more details, please let me know. We can set up a call together. I can help you with the setup. The next step that I will do is I will share the link with you by email to download the application. And then whoever would like to have an extended license, please share with me the hardware ID, and I will arrange a license, an extended license. And then, yes, you can let me know whenever you need any help in the setup or anything technical.
For the demo license, do you need just the model name or the serial number as well?
Sorry, for the demo license, you need what's the first?
The scanner model, or do you need the serial number of the scanner?
No, for the demo license, I only need the license key, the hardware ID from the license manager. And this is what I will share by email. Like I will share the instructions. So you just click hardware ID, the show hardware ID. And this is, if you copy this and share it by email, so I can send this to have a license key generated with this hardware ID. So this is used only whenever we are generating a demo license. For a purchased license for any customer, we need he needs definitely, he will get the serial number when receiving the invoice or the details, and then he will put the serial number over here and click get license. So even after we generate the license for you, we tell you, please open the license manager, like the demo license is ready. The only thing you need to do is click get license. Then it connects to the licensing system online, and it will validate and activate the demo license for you. Or in case of a serial number, it will activate the purchase license. So the scanner model is only needed whenever you are providing a license for a customer. So if the customer is is in need of a license, we need to know the model to know which license group to provide this customer.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great. Any more questions? Yeah.
Yes, just one question. On the barcode reading, is that just on 1D barcodes, or does it also read 2D barcodes?
No, definitely. We have, let me show you the list of supported barcodes. I think maybe we've been, so here, this is the barcode zone. So these are the supported. So we have a QR code. Not sure which one is also a 3D barcode. But yeah, so it's definitely one of them is at least supported.
100%. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any more questions from anyone?
All good.
Nothing more from my side.
All right, perfect. So thank you everyone for attending. Sorry, it was a bit long. You will have the recording if you would like to go back to any section or get help on anything. And you have our emails. You can email us anytime you need any help.